LMD Magazine and EFM present Biz Talk, taking an in-depth look at today's biz landscape.
Welcome to another edition of LMD EFM Biz Talk. Today we're speaking to the Vice President and Area General Manager for the ONYX Hospitality Group, Simon Dell. Good morning, Mr. Dell, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
First of all, what do you think can be done to improve the hospitality sector in order to capitalize on the tourism boom Sri Lanka has experienced?
As you say, Sri Lanka is experiencing a very significant growth period for tourism, tourist arrivals, overnight stays, etc. I think over the past few years, average growth has been in excess of 16%. Sri Lanka is obviously on a very steep curve of development here for the tourism sector. It's an extremely important business sector for the economy, and the government, the authorities, relevant authorities, whether it's the tourism authorities, are pursuing serious conversations about how to further push this development and how to further address the needs of the tourism sector, us as hoteliers, but also, the transportation situation, infrastructure, etc., etc. There are long-term and mid-term needs for this country. Obviously, if we speak specifically about the tourism sector, obviously, we already know that there's ongoing work for the airport, and that's an important mid-term goal, that the airport itself reaches the sort of levels and expectations of the incoming crowds of tourists. But it goes further and it becomes more and more long-term as you talk about the more important infrastructure of this country, whether it's roads, rail, etc. But also, medium-term, short-term and medium-term, the government is very proactive in discussing with us hoteliers and other stakeholders all the rules, regulations, licensing issues, etc., that make doing business here in Sri Lanka easier and easier. So I think it's very positive. I think everybody all the stakeholders recognize very clearly the importance of tourism, the steep curve that tourism is on, and are exploring all avenues to improve the experience on an ongoing basis. And we ourselves as ONYX Hospitality Group, we've recognized the huge growth that Sri Lanka offers to people in our business. And this is why, in fact, we are putting significant resources into being a part of this, the development of Sri Lanka and the hospitality business here. It's crucial to note that we're going from 2 properties, the Ozo Kandy and the Ozo Colombo, to a 3-property region with the Amari coming up, and future development will include at least another 2 properties over the next few years, that's for sure. And we've upgraded this area from a cluster area into a region for us. That's a fairly significant difference. We've gone from sort of a cluster general manager situation. Now we have a vice president for the region situation to assist as our stakeholders, our owners, in developing this into a very significant region.
What are the trends you see in the local industry?
Well, locally, clearly, the region, Southeast Asia, North Asia, and across here towards Sri Lanka, India, etc. The strength of the economies, the various economies, whether you move from Sri Lanka to Vietnam into Myanmar and look across to China, this creates a whole new level or a whole new volume of travelers who are out there now starting to look for those travel experiences. Go a few years back and you weren't seeing the kind of business coming out of a Vietnam or a Myanmar. But now, with China obviously booming over the last decade or so, the growth is pretty spectacular. Coming into Sri Lanka, obviously you'll know that the leading geographic source for business here being India, and then very closely followed by China, and this is only growing more and more and more. But we see all of these other countries coming into the mix here, and it's important for a hotel company also to have its properties in those areas. That creates brand image awareness. And to that end, we are also targeting property openings across Vietnam, Myanmar, Laos, all of these sort of countries, so that our brand name is out there as well. I mean, a good example would be India, where we're a very, very well-known brand because, the Indians have been traveling into Thailand for quite some time, and the Amari brand, our core brand, has been around for 40 odd years, perhaps more. And so they know very well the brand, and this serves us extremely well coming into Amari Gul, coming into our Gul property, Amari Gul. We intend to harness this, let's call it a slightly more local traveller, if you will, here across our Asia region, and the growing middle class across these countries, to bring them into and to bring more business and more money, obviously tourism dollars, into this country.
Can you give us an idea of your newest property, Amari Gul, and what you hope to achieve with it?
Okay, so obviously I would hope that many people looking at this would already know what our Ozo brand is. The existing Kandy and Colombo properties have made a pretty big impact on the business here. We've done extremely well with this 4-star brand coming in. And with the Amari Gul, we're stepping up into the 5-star area with that brand. Now, Ozo is more of the smart, savvy sort of brand, the perhaps more youthful traveller, the one looking to be very well connected, the one looking to experience the world, have some adventure around him or her when they stay. They're looking for the simple, the smart, the savvy stay, the perfect night's sleep, but not all the extras of the mini bars and this sort of thing. They're not necessarily looking for that sort of thing. Whereas with the Amari brand, this is a brand where we really focus on sharing moments. We build much of what we do is helping people to share experiences while they're staying with us and while they're at a location. So we design things, food and beverage, bar experience, etc., around that sharing experience. So whether you're coming, with your family, your wife and kids, whether you're coming as a corporate group get together, a bit of team building, whether you're coming with a bunch of friends to celebrate something in a beautiful property, our goal is to ensure that you are able to have a fantastic time together. So whether it's the food, the beverage, or the other experiences, that's what Amari is really all about.
What can you tell us about any plans you have for the future?
There's no signature on any piece of paper as yet, but I do know that we're looking towards the obvious areas to complete our the famed Sri Lanka circuit. We obviously want to be looking into the Sigiriya situation and the Nuwara Eliya situation. It stands to reason. Obviously, you've got to have Colombo. Kandy is a very important cultural destination. We see it in our numbers over in Kandy. And of course, Gul is a fabulous place to be bringing, the first international 5-star hotel to that town. But obviously, the next steps are very geographically seem pretty obvious and clear in terms of Nuwara Eliya and Sigiriya. These are two areas that we're looking at quite intensely at this point in time, but we don't have a signature yet.
Thank you for taking the time to speak to us, Mr. Dell.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday for more insights from our business community. You can also log on to efm.lk and lmd.lk/lmdtv for a visual experience of Biz Talk.